And then on the side here, what I want is, I want to see a graph of the CPU utilization. And I'm hoping it stays somewhere below 60%. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna leave the blur on because I'm assuming we're trying to test worst case scenario. If you can check if you can come, oh, it's listed as unlisted, sorry, that's stupid. Edit, visibility, public. Well, actually, I guess I could keep it unlisted, but whatever. There. Can you see if you can access it now? Yeah, and you're probably gonna want to mute the Twitch stream once you get in. Just the audio, or adjust my microphone position here. Let me make sure everything is running. Yeah. Alright, actually, in fact, I can check it on my main computer as well, see if it's even showing up, or if the stream is even showing up. Let's see. Am I streaming? It does look like, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna echo, so I should not do that. Yeah, okay. So yeah, Monaristy, if you're there, can you check if you can join the stream? Or the YouTube one? Meanwhile, I'll get my, I'll go grab my, what do you call it? My loot boxes. Yeah. Can I see it? Okay, yeah, I guess the propagation took a little bit. So the question is if you can hear the game audio, and then if the audio level is okay. Oh, what? Audio is good. We'll have to get into a game because, you know, the game audio can get pretty loud after a while. But yeah. So we'll play through one game and just make sure that the audio is good. You don't hear the game audio, really. Why is... It's showing... It's supposed to be going through. What is the issue? Oh. Ambient noise. Oh, that's because I have a filter. What do you call it? An audio, or what do you call it? Like a noise suppression filter on my microphone. I'm not sure why you don't hear the game audio. Actually, let me try this real quick. Will this work? Do you hear the game audio now? It might echo, which is the reason why I didn't do it like that normally, or I don't do it like that normally. Oh, sorry. This is blocking soldier. Now you hear it. Okay, does it echo though? Because the reason why I didn't do it like that in the first place is because I thought it would echo. How about this? Do you still hear the game audio? Like right now?
The true enemy of humanity is disorder.
Okay. How about that much? We'll try the game audio at this level then. I brought it down another 3 decibels. Can you still hear it?
Soldier 76, reporting for
Sometimes I don't get how OBS works, honestly. Still here? Okay, so then we'll try it at this level.
Teleporter online. Remove critical sentry turret place.
Well, anyway, you can see what I mean by, like, once the game gets hectic, then the audio can get really loud. Right? So, and I'm gonna use that as reference for the, you know, the max possible noise to account for, you know. Yeah. Alright,
Enemy turret sighted.
This will protect us. Damage output increase.
oh, I thought they went over here. Good balance between me. Okay. So we'll try it like this and then... We'll wait for the game to get a little bit more hectic.
This will protect us. Damage output
Actually, my personal audio is a little low right now, so I should fix that.
Thank you. I understand. Hello there. I require assistance. Let me get you repair the damage.
weapon system
Oh.
optimized.
What? Why did my jump fail there? Oh, whatever. I was gonna go help him, but I guess it's okay.
Critical hit. Enemy turret.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, how's it going? How's work? I think you said you had work today, right?
This will heal you.
Get her. Oh.
The true enemy of humanity is disorder.
There, let me just set up here. Right about right at the corner.
Teleporter online.
Oh,
I have opened
that's not the teleport I wanted.
the
Some
path to
teleporters
duty.
here. Or turrets right here. Oh, you had today off. Okay, I got mixed up. Can I?
Teleporter online.
It's a little... It's not... This isn't a good spot, honestly. Oh, it's... Yeah, I mean, I guess I should be thankful that they got rid of it. Let's do this teleporter then. I think this one is doable.
I have opened the
This should get us... Yeah, this should be a good one. Yeah. Well, if they wouldn't shoot them all.
turret in place.
Shaun of the Dead. I didn't actually watch that show. I heard about it though, but it's that like parody, right? Or rather, like the zombie movie parody type thing, right? Yeah. If I remember correctly.
Sentry turret place.
Who's up there?
Heroes never die. Let's get you back in the fight.
I know there's one hole right there that you can aim through.
Sentry online.
Pretty neat movie. Oh wait, sorry. I thought it was a TV series. Is that not what it is? I might be thinking of the wrong show then.
My ultimate is charging. Aligning defense system.
30 seconds remaining.
Do not hide ahead. Victory will soon be ours.
Okay, yeah, I must be thinking of something else, but it's a movie then. Okay. Sorry, I swear someone's gonna jump here. Okay.
Fences in blink.
Victory.
Okay. Alright, so the audio is better here. It's at negative 18.8 decibels, but I guess it didn't really get loud at the end there, so
Play
yeah.
of the game.
Okay, so the script was actually like well thought out. Okay. Also, something I didn't realize until, actually, sorry, where's the chat? Is the chat updated? Okay, there we go. Something I didn't realize until
Welcome to
I reset all my stream settings. I didn't have my eyebrows set up for Live 2D. My eyebrows weren't set up. I remember telling myself I had to set it up properly when I first, got the model. Got the model back after rigging, and I don't think I ever did because I was looking at my. I was gonna survive that. Yeah, but yeah, my eyebrows now work. I think they work fine, yeah. Yeah. But Shaun of the Dead, huh? Okay. Oh no, I actually like playing Doomfist sometimes. He's a fun character even though I suck at him. Oh.
score 1-1.
It's a perfect day for some mayhem.
High tech, yeah, I got eyebrows. Oh, anyway. Yeah.
Don't forget your sunscreen.
So we're gonna we're gonna check the audio level again, and I think we'll call this the last game. And I'll probably just go to sleep. It's the weekend. So for work I was making a little detector thingy for work, right? So I finally got around to making the rest of them, or at least soldering them together. I don't know if we don't have the housing yet. I still have to get those from DigiKey. But yeah, I don't know, a little tired, but anyway. Well, what I was gonna say is it's a productive day, so. Where's the... Jeez, this Mercy had got balls, man. Did you see that? She straight up like went to pistol whip the tracer. It's like counters. What counters? Oops. Did you see that? I was like, this Mercy is good. I don't which one is this? Is it Buttercup? It must be Buttercup. Did you see that? Like I should have like saved it, honestly. It's like, not that it's surprising, but you know, it's not a matchup that you can win all that easily. Oh, that freaking ledge. I don't think I'm gonna survive that. Do we still have Mercy? No. Okay. Sometimes they just don't care. Nah, man, that Mercy was out for blood, man. Like she I'm sure if I didn't interfere and like, you know, grenade the guy at the end, like she would have gotten the kill. Oh well. Laid down all day. Well, sometimes there's a day for that, right? Like I took a really long, you know, like this past winter break, I relaxed quite a bit too, so it's just that yeah. Actually, so one thing I did learn, it turns out, so the story with the detector was that I was trying to do the what do you call it? The circuit analysis for it. Sorry, I was trying to do the circuit for analysis for it, and basically the way it works, I think I might have mentioned before, is the way it's supposed to work is that it's designed so that you so that if there is a voltage offset, like there's a constant, like say 2-volt offset in your signal, then the way the detector is supposed to work is that it's supposed to kind of like gradually kind of stop caring about that. Like it's designed so that consistent voltage offsets will gradually go to 0, and that's the benefit, right? So like, you know, well, it's useful. Let's just say that functionality where a consistent voltage offset is gradually like filtered out of the signal, so to speak, is useful. In this case, it's not always useful, but in this case it is. And I was trying to figure out why, so I was playing with it, and it works one way. If one detector, oh, we died, or we lost, oh well. So the way it worked is that we have two like places where light can shine on, and it takes the difference, right? So the detector has two like beams of light going into it, and it kind of outputs the difference. So naturally, as I said before, to that detector we added the functionality that is kind of filtering out the offset. So like if two laser beams have different levels of power, but the difference between them is the same for a long period of time, then our detector will gradually like stop caring about the difference, and it'll only focus on like the random sudden spikes and differences. Like, so basically it'll still detect spikes in differences, like if there's a sudden spike between the difference in power, so like one detector suddenly turns more, gets one laser suddenly becomes more powerful than the other or something, it'll read that, but it won't read, you know, hey, there's a 2 voltage worth of laser power difference, you know, over the course of the entire experiment. So you know, it lets you focus on random spikes. So I'm making the detector part, right? And so that's the long story short. I'm making that detector, and here's the weird thing though. We have two places, two like inputs for light beams of light, right? We have two like laser inputs for this detector, and if one detector fluctuates, it's the D1 detector. It's labeled D1. You know, D1 and D2 are the two detectors. But when D1 fluctuates, the detector works fine. When D2 fluctuates, it doesn't really work. And I spent like a solid like 2 weeks trying to like do the circuit analysis for this, being like, okay, so when D1 does this, then you know this feedback happens, and it changes the amount of current that goes into this transistor, you know. Long story short, when D1 fluctuates, then then the circuit analysis works fine. It'll balance, or you know, it'll automatically, you know, filter out that static or that constant voltage offset. But when D2 fluctuates, it doesn't necessarily do that. And that made sense according to my my circuit analysis and stuff. It made sense according to like all the circuits, you know, classes I've taken, but it didn't make sense to me in terms of like why, but like you know, in terms of like why don't we want that functionality? Why doesn't it detect, or why doesn't it filter it when the other detector fluctuates? And I was like struggling with these things for like 2 weeks trying to figure out, okay, so why does D1 work but D2 not? I mean, I know why it doesn't work. It's because it was, you know, there's a specific pair of transistors that you would need to implement. No worries. I was basically just in the lab, just drawing the same circuit over and over again and just being like, okay, step one, this happens, then this happens, then this happens. You can do it rather sequentially. But so then so it got to the point where I was just like, okay, I'm not making progress. Let me just ask, you know, the PI that I'm working with, because I got the circuit from him. So I told him like, okay, so I get why this balances, or this DC offset disappears when this detector fluctuates, but I don't get what happens when the second detector fluctuates. And then the PI is like, oh yeah, it doesn't. What the fuck what did I spend 2 weeks on? But so there's a completely valid and understandable reason for that though, which I should have realized in retrospect, but again, it's good to know. And the reason is the detector that we expect to fluctuate is where the signal, our reference beam, so to speak, is supposed to come in. And the second detector, the one that doesn't seem to have any balancing functionality, or sorry, any like voltage offset, you know, like cancellation functionality, like the one that doesn't have any special functionality, that is where our reference beam goes in. Like we want, like, you know, some sort of laser beam that serves as like a reference, right? Like sure, we have laser power, but what is that in relation to, right? So the second detector is for a reference beam, and that's why it doesn't have any balancing functionality, because you know, we can afford to waste a ton of beam power on so anyway, so after I realized that, it was really, it's just a matter of, oh, okay, so it works then. Yeah, like, how long were we in that hallway? But anyway, so that was the funny story. I'm glad you know, the thing about, you know, working on these things and like, you know, trying to do the analysis for this is at some point you kind of go like, especially like when I was taking the circuits lab class, at some point you start trying to invent like physics, so to speak, to justify what you expect to happen, even though the answer sometimes is just a matter of, oh, it doesn't. So one thing I'm kind of maybe not proud of, but at least I'm glad I didn't do, is I didn't really invent any bullshit physics to try to justify why the second detector should balance or something like that. Like, because I couldn't think of anything. But no, it's just a matter of the analysis being correct, and yeah, there's no dark energy or, you know, dark matter involved or anything. There's no unknown, you know, source or sink of current or anything. It just straight up doesn't balance using the second detector, which is again fine. Oh, got her. Yeah. It just works. Yeah, it's, well, not just I guess it's not it just works, but more like it's just supposed to work like that, honestly. But anyway, yeah. So thanks to that, thanks to that validation that my circuit analysis was correct and the circuit is working as intended, I made a lot of progress. I started the rest of the detectors because, you know, because now that I had a valid, you know, verification that it should work. And the thing I realized is that I had one detector that my PI soldered because, you know, so the first time I built the detector, it was broken. So then he soldered one for me to kind of just to help it as like a, you know, for a sanity check for all of us to make sure that the detector works the way it's supposed to. And then I realized when I was soldering earlier this week that the detector he made is actually broken. It works, but it doesn't work, like one of the parts is damaged. So it worked out really great in that not only did, like, in terms of making progress this week, it worked out really great because not only did I finish making the detectors, but I realized, or I found that the detector he made that I thought was totally perfectly functional was actually broken. So I was able to fix that as well. Worked with in class? No, in fact, this detector is, okay, you make detectors. You make, in this case, it's a photo detector. It detects light, right? It's a photo detector. But what do you call it? I'm gonna die. Okay. But in this case, it was something that I thought he made. Turns out he pulled it from a different source in literature. I can actually pull out that. Actually, so that's why I kind of want to make a video about the detector later. First, for my own documentation, and second, if someone else ever joins the project and needs to build a future version, because it turns out the detector just comes from a different paper. It's described in a different paper, so I should be totally okay about, you know, with like talking about it, because it's not like, you know, secret, you know, physics, you know, not NDA, you know, blocked like information. It's all public. Okay, fine. You might need a subscription to, you know, a journal to read the paper, but you could also just email the author for a PDF, right? So anyway, so yeah. Think about questions. Oh yeah. Sorry. So this is half the work, right? So now that I validated that this stream setup here works, sort of, now I just have to make sure that YouTube will take VODs, and then after that, I just literally straight up take this OBS screen that you see on YouTube right now, right? And then I just feed it into another OBS instance, which will then just send it to Twitch. And then I private this stream. And then that way, so the idea is that when I regularly stream from now on, what I'll do is that I'll actually be streaming to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, but the YouTube one will be privated. That way, if I get affiliate in the future, if I choose to get affiliate in the future, then I won't be in violation of the contract. And then if the stream is private, but then also streamed to YouTube, then YouTube will make sure to take VODs of it, right? So then it'll automatically record and save, you know, to my channel, and then all I have to do is just click from private to public. So this is why I'm testing this stream right now, right? This is actually in relation to the whole thing we talked about, how I would just make a automated system for taking VODs, which you could then pull from to grab audio or clips or something later. So that's what this is, right?
Capture objective A.
Yeah, it's an affiliate and partner only thing. Although, if I understand correctly, partners can actually negotiate specifics of their contract, so that's not even necessarily a partner thing. Anyway, sorry, I got a little. Get out! Okay. Anyway, so basically, what I'm trying to say is that for the VOD making setup, so that, you know, so you can grab audio clips later, that's almost ready. This is like half of the you know, this is like half of the work. So that's almost ready. I'll probably finish it off tomorrow. Anyway, I don't know who got capped, but good on them.
Ready for battle. Get in there.
Yeah, we're not gonna fight that. Or at least I don't think we should. Sorry, let me... Sorry, I think we have a good chance at getting the cap, so... Let me just back up our Winston here, he's doing... Oh, I should not have jumped into that. I'm fucked. Aw, thank you for the backup there. I am not gonna risk it, though. Menhida and VTubers. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Okay. Menhida. Sorry, because there are Menhida VTubers, right? That is the thing. Wait, where did my... Oh, I gave it to Winston. Okay.
My ultimate is almost ready.
60 seconds.
Ready for battle. Maximum charge. Огонь по готовности.
Oh wait, there was another Winston behind him? Okay. So by Menhida, let's see. You are making the distinction between like Menhida and like Yandere, right? Or just like Yanderu. Like Yanderu as in the state, like the verb. Because there's a lot of similarities, and I know a lot of people will often use them to kind of be interchangeable, but there is... I'm actually not really sure what the difference is. I'd have to look it up, but my understanding is that there is a difference. They got a lot of... They share a lot of qualities, though. Oh, wait, fuck. Where the fuck am I wall climbing? I don't. Jeez. Oh wait, I said the last game was supposed to be the end. Oh, ran into that. Yeah.
Only through conflict.
I mean, and I suppose one of the things that maybe is worth asking is it all that different from like Menhida fans of like you know, just other internet personalities, or maybe not even internet personalities, right? No, I realize you don't have the question yet. I'm just saying it's one of those things that, you know, worth maybe asking. I think actually speaking of that, it kind of reminds me of one thing where people will you know, like, I want to say about a few months ago that there was a big push for, like, individuals getting into corporate VTubing because, you know, like Hololive and Yuji-sanji and other companies were starting to try to get a kind of like a Western presence, and were hiring indies. So that kind of reminds me, or essentially what I'm trying to touch on is more of the idea of like the like how unique the topic is necessarily or unnecessarily. And one thing I wanted to bring up is one of the topics that came up in that discussion about switching from indie to corporate is that indie VTubers are very, very good people to choose from, like people with track records, not just because they have a track record, but because they bring a fan base with them. Now, realistically, they're not supposed to, but they do bring a fan base with them. And you would think that maybe that discussion is a little bit unique because, you know, because there isn't necessarily a comparable equivalent to VTubers, but the funny thing is that that exact discussion and that exact analysis came up when talking about what do you call it? Utaite, like singers, right, on Nico Nico Doga, getting what do you call it? Getting like corporate contracts and like signing with like music labels and stuff. And the same discussion came up. The benefit of an Utaite becoming or signing corporate with a music label is that they bring a fan base. So in terms of being an investment, they're a very safe investment because they bring a guaranteed, you know, there's some degree of a guaranteed like there's a level of guaranteed, like, what do you call it, income that you get out of that, because they already have experience with like selling like music and stuff, and all the music label has to do is just profit off that. So, which is to say that on one hand you could have discussed the VTuber thing as like its own unique thing, where, you know, like, but really there were examples fairly what do you call it, fairly similar examples that you could have analyzed, or that people could have analyzed, you know, from like half a decade or about half a decade prior. Like, for example, what was his name? There's one Utaite on Nico Nico Doga that made like a 5-part video series, like literally discussing this. And when I was watching, I saw some clips, people analyzing whether or not indie VTubers should go corporate and stuff. And I was like, and they were talking as if this was some like novel territory or like untread ground. And I was like, no, even in Japan, no, even in the US, no. Which is to say that it's worth, once you think of the question, it's also worth, I think one thing that we can discuss is to what degree it's unique, or to how unique the circumstances really are. Which, you know, in one way can, what do you call it? It can, right, like it's not necessarily where you need to start, but at least it saves a lot of trouble doing analysis, right? So, yeah. I was actually surprised because that more people didn't make that connection between like Utaite and like VTubers, because a lot of Utaite basically were proto VTubers, right? They had anime style, you know, illustrations of themselves that they used for like music video purposes, as well as like obviously the characters didn't talk, but, you know, they would play video games on Nico Nico or Nikonama and stuff, and, you know, they would chat with their viewers, and, you know, during Comiket they would advertise and stuff, and like this is why I think a lot of people consider VTubers these new things, but from the perspective of someone who's watched the Nico Nico, like the Nico culture, it's like, well, no, this is just the natural evolution of that kind of community, right? So not that it's a bad thing, and VTuber, I think, culture is a bit more unique, at least in terms of what do you call it, that parasocial interaction. It's even, if you can even call it parasocial at this point, right? It was parasocial maybe from TV and like newspapers, but at this point, is it really parasocial? It's hard to draw that line. You know, parasocial interaction was much easier to define when there was a clear boundary, but you know, now that boundary is like super arbitrary, it's like, you might want to think of a different word for it, honestly. Later on. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, again, we don't have to have the same discussion though, right? Like, the thing I established right now was essentially, when we eventually do have that discussion, we have some more things to talk about. Of course, that means I'm gonna have to do some research about Instant Mayhead and stuff, but knowing Google, I'm sure Google is already listening to me and is gonna recommend me some YouTube videos tonight to watch. If you found it interesting, that's fine, but not sure I can relate. I kind of misread that.
Let them up. You or me? I heard you.
Sorry, I feel bad for the the widow, just like standing right next to me, not getting any fucking healing.
Barrier activated. Get in here. Get in the immortality field. Rich's burst activated.
I guess one thing to also, oh no, Winston, come on, still out. Yeah, there you go. One thing to also check is you can see the current time on screen, right? How much of a delay is there? Imagine it'll fluctuate depending on how much stuff is going on screen. But how much of a delay is there? Is it like sub 1 minute or? I shouldn't have wasted both of my abilities there. Yeah, just take the. Oh, brief. Seriously?
Let them up. You're fully healed.
EMP activated.
Get in here. How about a little head nose?
Just says YouTube? Oh, like on the widget. Oh, okay, yeah. So the widget is the widget time within reason. So the widget I think updates every second. So what time is it right now? 54 and 59. Okay, so how long does it take the clock to flip there? Like, is it like, I'm hoping it's like sub 10 seconds or so, but I'm not sure. I was about to upvote myself. That talk about embarrassing, right? Yeah. These Winstons were very good about coming back for healing though, and the Widow was patient, so we'll give her that. Actually, so here's the thing. Why I'm doing things like this? Actually, okay, 3/4. Really? That's suspiciously low. Actually, yeah. So one thing I wanted to bring up is, can you play back at 1080p on your stream? Can you do 1080p 30? Because that's what that's the max I can output out right now. Otherwise, it uses too much CPU. Too many CPU cycles. And essentially, what I wanted to touch on is why I'm doing 1080 on YouTube but not on Twitch. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's YouTube will automatically do re-encoding. So if I stream to YouTube at 1080p, then you can automatically play back at 360p or like 480p and 1080p. I don't think you can play back at every resolution, but YouTube will automatically let you play back VOD at different resolutions, even on the free version, right? Or without premium. And yeah, see? Yeah. Okay.
Stick with me, and I'll cover you.
But Twitch doesn't, right? So and here's the other thing. I'm using old NVENC, the old NVIDIA encoder, and the problem with the old NVIDIA encoder is that it's super like bitrate hungry. So right now I'm streaming to YouTube at 51,000 kilobytes per second in order to get decent resolution. Like, I'm sure I could go lower, but that's the maximum YouTube allows, and I'm just gonna I can afford to because watch the screen right now. Rendering device lost. Or application closing. We had a good push. It's okay. I think we're calling it a day here, with at least in terms of the game. But anyway, yeah. So YouTube, you can stream at whatever you know, whatever bit rate you want. So right now I'm shoving 51,000 kilobytes per second of data down YouTube's throat right now, right? And they're okay with it because they'll end up re-encoding the data stream or the data anyway, and then feeding it to you at a sensible resolution and bit rate, right? So that's why I can stream to 1080p on YouTube. I'm hoping I want, at least when I locally check it, like on my computer, 1080p looks nice. We'll have to get someone else to check it later as well, or at some other point. But this way the VODs will be in 1080p, right? So I hope that, so if anyone ever uses the VOD for clipping or something, it should look clean. And then Twitch is essentially for people that, like Twitch, I throttle it down to like I think 2.5K or 25,000 or 2,500, sorry, kilobytes per second on Twitch, because Twitch for free users doesn't do re-encoding. So if I stream the same way I did to YouTube as I did to Twitch, you would need to be able to, you know, you would have to have a connection that supported, you know, 51 megabits per second, you know, download speeds, which is ridiculous, right? Like you could do that, but and a lot of people can support that, but for a shitty 1080p stream, you don't want to be doing 51k down or 51k down or 51,000k down. So that's why I wanted to test this, because you know, it's not, I can't just copy the Twitch stream straight to YouTube, which is why I needed some testing. But again, it looks like so audio is okay from what it sounds like. And all that's left is to send it to Twitch and then we'll be good. But we're going to do that tomorrow because I don't really want to, or I want to pace myself essentially. So we're going to do that. Cool. So we're going to call it, oh yeah, no Twitch emotes, unfortunately, or yeah, no emotes, unfortunately. Audio sounds good. Okay, and then the video, I mean, obviously it's pixelated, but I really wanted to just test the audio from the game right now. So that's good. So let me go back to Notion real quick though. So I think we said negative 18.8, right? We want to set this to negative 18.8. Don't see, but note that it doesn't seem like audio from sources not in a scene. Essentially what I want to record is that right now what you're looking at on screen is a like in OBS there are what they call sources, right? Sources of video or like visual asset sources, or you know, components essentially, right? On screen what you're seeing isn't a video or my capture card and then a filter on top, but rather you're seeing the capture card that is then mirrored. So the mirror is a different source, and then on that mirrored source you see a filter. So earlier the audio that I had on, which you can hear, was of the audio of the original capture card, which again you said you couldn't hear, right? But when I turned down the audio for the mirrored source, you could hear it. So from when I did research, it sounded like I could use audio from sources that aren't in the scene that you're currently seeing and still be able to hear it. But from what you just heard, it sounds like you can't actually hear it. In which case, then it means that I need to enable the audio. So that's what I'm making a note of right here. I need to make sure that the audio for the actual source mirror that is in the scene needs to be enabled. So how do I want to phrase that? Note that it doesn't seem like audio from sources not present in the scene cannot be heard. Note that it seems like it seems like audio from sources not present in a scene cannot be heard. So enable audio accordingly. Should link my stream test info as a resource for my stream test. Right? What? Sorry, what? Stream test resource. Wait, like one of my Notion pages or what? Sorry. If someone else wants to reference what I'm working on, then I feel like I should clean up the pages a little bit. So so give me a little bit of a warning before you link it. Or unless you mean something else. The Notion. Okay, yeah. It's okay. I'm gonna have to clean it up. I mean, they can obviously look at it, but I don't think it'll make much sense. Oh yeah. So one last thing I wanted, and this pertains specifically to you, or rather the Notion page you're working on, which is why I wanted to bring it up before I go to bed today. So it turns out I thought that I could invite any number of guests into okay, sorry, we're almost done. But basically, your Gmail is currently invited as a guest into my Notion page. I thought with a free personal plan, I could invite any number of guests, and the only bottleneck was like how like the page hierarchy. Turns out that's wrong. The personal pro plan, which is $5 a month, has unlimited guests. The free personal plan is 5 guests. Which is to say that I think eventually what we want to do is that we want to migrate your page. You can switch, but I think the long-term solution is to migrate your page onto your Notion account, because right now it's under mine, right? But you can because mine is you can literally copy paste it into your own account later, and then that way, and then I just am a guest on your account, and then everyone else can use the link directly to yours that way. That way it frees up a guest's, or that way it doesn't use up a guest slot on my page, it uses a guest slot on your page, and then we can get an extra person in and out. And actually, I think as long as you don't need to edit, I don't think you actually need to be a guest. So we can test that too. Yeah, just let me know what their Gmail or login information is, and then I can invite them as a guest onto the Notion if they want to add stuff or something. And then some other time we can modify your page so that it's actually functional as like a database and stuff, right? Like each of these notes here, or these pairs of thumbnails and links can be their own entry in a database and stuff. It's not hard. They make it really easy. But yeah, I'm liking how this is like exactly what I was thinking of. Like I didn't want I wasn't really looking for like a really like detailed like, oh, this the 25.6 pixel border around the edge is should be three shades darker than like I wasn't looking for shit like that. I was just looking for like, this look nice, it looks nice. So this is good. This is good. This is very good. Yeah. And then I'll clean up my pages too in case your friend wants to use it or something. Cool. Anyway, so your food coma is, I guess, kicking in, and my fatigue from soldering all day for the past few days is starting to kick in. Right, like sometimes you get sick of your own writing, right? No, I can totally relate. But I can relate. I think everyone that's taken an English class, or everyone that's had to write any paper above 10 pages, I think can relate, right? At some point you get sick of your own words, which is the problem, right? Because you usually have a minimum like character requirement, but like I feel like every single time, every pass through my papers I feel like I get rid of like more and more words just so it's less of a pain in the ass to read. And then at some point I read through my thing and revised it so much that it's like a skeleton in terms of like words. Which is easy to read, but all the fancy lingo is all gone, and it's just a matter of like this observation, this analysis, this conclusion, this observation, this analysis, this conclusion. Okay, anyway, so we're gonna call it a day. So let's see, at least on YouTube and Well, let's kill. Okay, so on the Twitch side, thanks for coming by. Take care, stay safe. Have a good evening. See you later. Otsukare oyasumi owari. Okay, so we close Streamlabs OBS. I don't, or sorry, not OBS. Streamlabs Mobile, because it doesn't even have OBS in there. And then on YouTube over here, I think that's a good test. One thing I need to check is if this test VOD gets saved. I want to say I set it up to like with DVR mode so that it would be saved, but I don't know. So we'll check that tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, Monaristy, thanks for helping me test this. If the audio level is good now, then yeah, we're basically there. I think by tomorrow we should have everything set up. So yeah, yeah, I'll see you later then. Yeah, otsukare oyasumi owari. Or wait, what? Sorry. Time to make your own custom stream thumbnail. Oh man, I should, but that's asking a lot of those are pretty high expectations for someone for someone as lazy as me. I might scribble like a little like black and white sketch or something. But anyway, yeah. Take care. See you later. Otsukare.